All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. The music industry's war on Gordon Lightfoot. Now, let me preface this by saying that American adult contemporary stations that play a wide variety of music, they still play Gordon Lightfoot. They do. It's quite astonishing. But a song that's like 51 years old, for instance, if you can read my mind, over a half century, recorded back in 1970, may have even been recorded in 69 and put out in 1970. And it's still on adult contemporary stations. In fact, one of the most haunting songs you'll ever hear, lyrically and musically, some imagery that it's hard to shake. Gordon Lightfoot is like just, the elite songwriting. I compare that particular track to Operator by Jim Croce. Those are two songs that just, it's hard not to think about those songs after they finish playing, both musically and lyrically. They just stick with you. But Lightfoot had a pretty good run of songs, including Carefree Highway, Beautiful, which again is another one of those haunting songs. Um, Sundown, that's the song I think I became very aware of Gordon Lightfoot when I was just a kid. Um, just a tremendous song. Rainy Day People, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, which again is this epic story. Look, the Canadians get it. I think they've bestowed pretty much every honor that you can find up there to give Gordon Lightfoot. He's 82 years old. He's still with us. And God bless him. I know he's performed recently and he's still got it. Doesn't sound quite the same as he did back 50 years ago. But man, he's had an amazing career, a great live performer. There are other tracks that got some radio airplay. One of note is a tune he did with David Foster called Anything for Love in the 1980s. He also had a minor hit with Baby Step Up or Baby Step Back. In Canada, he had other tracks that got lots of airplay that didn't get as much airplay here in the States, including Summer Side of Life and Talking in Your Sleep and You Are What I Am and Summertime Dream and Race Among the Ruins and Daylight Katie and a tune called Salute, which got a little bit of airplay here in the States and also in Canada. Here's a guy, again, who deserves recognition here. Has he ever been nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? No. He's kind of a folkster, but like I said, he worked with David Foster, which probably doesn't help him with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But he epitomizes that laid back 70s format, which for some reason doesn't do well with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's why you don't hear, say, the band Firefall being nominated or a band like Orleans or any of these groups that were around in the 70s that made fairly impactful music. Pablo Cruz, I know that's a punchline probably at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but Gordon Lightfoot doesn't deserve to be a punchline. He is a great singer, songwriter, and for longevity alone, a guy who should at least get nominated for the Hall of Fame. Put him up there so fans can vote. I know, look, he's a singer-songwriter type, and most people, especially of my age, they want rock bands to get in, but I also want these great unheralded solo artists and these musicians that have left such a mark, both on radio and on how to write a great song. I mean, there's no question about the fact that Gordon Lightfoot is an amazing songwriter. You may not care for his voice. I know there are people out there that just don't like his singing voice, but there have been a lot of kind of, uh, we'll call them different sounding vocalists who've gotten into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And you think to yourself, well, like Bob Dylan would be a great example. Not a lot of people like Bob Dylan's singing voice, but yet, of course, he's in the Hall of Fame because of his songwriting ability and his impact and his influence on so many others. He probably influenced Gordon Lightfoot to some degree, but Gordon Lightfoot is his own thing. And I always think there's Canadian bias because there are so many Canadian artists that have been, snubbed by the Hall of Fame. The good thing about Gordon Lightfoot is, at least from a programming standpoint, some of his music is still on the radio. And I guess we just need to be appreciative of that fact, and, just soldier on. But anyway, that's my video about Gordon Lightfoot. I think he's underappreciated. I think his songwriting skill gets him into the Hall of Fame every time. If you've got a sane group of people who are looking at the merits and thinking to themselves, yeah, this guy deserves to get in. I think Jim Croce should be in, despite the fact that his career was unfairly cut short because of a plane crash. The impact he made briefly was enough to get him into the Hall of Fame. If Nirvana can get into the Hall of Fame, right, with their shortened career and their style of music, which is the antithesis of a Gordon Lightfoot or a Jim Croce, if they can get in, then both of those guys should be in the Hall of Fame for sure. And those guys are on the radio every single day. Whereas Nirvana, maybe a few formats still play their music, but quite honestly, not to the same degree as a Gordon Lightfoot or a Jim Croce. Anyway, that's my video. These are my opinions, and you may not share them, and that's fine. But I like to make the case for underdogs, and clearly Gordon Lightfoot is an underdog who deserves credit. So there you go. All right, I'm done. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. Patreon, where I've got new perks and exclusive videos for folks that go over to Patreon. They can find out where to watch me and see other content. So there you have it. I'm done. See you soon.